Hello, thanks for listening to the Finance Leadership Podcast, the latest update and news about the Finance Leadership Programme. It's produced by AICPA and CIMA together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. You can find out more at aicpa-cima.com. As usual, you're listening to myself, Kevin Gormley, and I have two guests joining me on the podcast today. So the first of these you've heard from previous podcasts is Chris Roberts. And then also joined by another colleague of mine is Kim Hanson, who is a novice to the podcast. So would you mind introducing yourself and tell everyone what you do at the association, please?
Sure. So my name is Chris Roberts. I work for the team that looks after the FLP product and most importantly, looks after the learner experience. So what I do is I want to make sure that the student experience for FLP is as good as it can be. So I look after, once you've registered, you're going through the program and you're going through the exam review course. I'm just looking after to make sure that experience is optimized for you to complete the learning and take your case study exam.
Hi, everyone. My name's Kim Hanson, and I also work on the FLP product team. And my role is basically managing our learner platform and building new features and new functionality, and also making sure that things work properly.
Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Chris. So today, the topic of conversation is really directed at our current student or future students. Yesterday, you may have noticed if you've logged into your FLP platform, we've launched new functionality which will onboard students for the case study review course who are currently on the Skills Plus subscription. So you may have seen new screens and new functionality. Hopefully you all love it. We're just here to talk about it with Chris and Kim today, who have been involved in releasing this new functionality. So the first question I'm going to ask is to Kim. We launched yesterday, as I just said. Tell me a little bit about the changes, what they are, how they will be used by our students.
Sure. So these changes that were released yesterday on the learner platform were geared towards our Skills Plus and University Skills Plus learners. And we basically introduced the concept and the functionality of picking a targeted exam window and enrolling in a case study preparation class for the targeted exam window. So learners that would have logged in yesterday after these changes were released would have seen a one-time message welcoming them to the platform and then prompting them through the enrollment process to enroll themselves into a case study prep class. And once enrolled in a class, they have access to several new what are called My Class features. And the first place that appears is on the learner dashboard. So there is a new widget, as we call it, that's called My Class, and it shows your class information, class name, start, end date, your next live session that will be part of the class. Those are actually the former webinars. They're now all integrated within the My Class space, and also class announcements appear there as well. There's a full My Class page that has the schedule of live sessions. So there are still 3 unique live sessions with an option A and an option B. And there's also a very detailed study plan, which Chris will go into more. And there's also a space for class-specific announcements. And we've also given learners the ability to change case study preparation classes if their exam window target changes. And there are other bells and whistles, too, that are detailed in a feature explanation document that would have been linked to from the email communication that you received yesterday if you have not opted out of communications from the association.
Kim, it's fair to say that what we have delivered here is the same look and feel and user interface to the Skills Premium product, but the big difference obviously is you're not getting the live level learning or the live case study classes taking you through start to end of both of these. So for anyone who's maybe been on that product and has moved to Plus, then obviously you'll be familiar with the look and feel. So it won't be new to those students, but for Skills Plus students, this is a new type of interface.
Yeah, actually, a couple of important things to point out is that if a learner is not yet ready to choose an exam window target, or the class that's available for them right now for enrollment is not what they're intending to sit for, that they can bypass enrolling through a special link called Select Class Leader. So that skips the entire process and gives them an opportunity to enroll at a later point. We launched this with class enrollment available for the November exam window and February 25. So we'll be adding more classes as time goes on and posting full platform announcements.
It's worth pointing out, Jim, that till you enroll, you won't have access to certain features of the My Class.
Yeah. So if you skip enrolling in a class for now, you will not have access to the exam window specific pre-scene material or mock exams. You will see what we call a paywall style message saying that you've not enrolled in a class with a button to then enroll. And once that's happened, they'll have access to the Windows specific content.
Great. Chris, can you tell us about the benefits to the students?
Sure. There's going to be a lot of benefits students will find from this new feature. The first one is you're only going to be given the materials that apply to your actual exam. So in the past, we had our exam review course, but it was hard to tell, which exam any particular student was sitting for. So with this new feature, you're going to actually sign up for that class, and you're going to be given the mock exams and the pre-scene materials and analysis that applies to your case study that you're sitting. So it's really set just for you. You're not going to have to be confused as to, which materials you're receiving and whether those are the right materials or not. You're also going to receive a study plan that's part of your class. And the study plan goes week by week as to what are the materials and resources you should be looking at during that week. That includes your mock exams, your live sessions, and then any extra materials that we offer through the AICPA CIMA website that we think is going to be helpful for you with your studies. So with this study plan, it's going to make things a lot easier for you. You're going to know week by week what I should be focusing on. And that's why it's really important to start your studies early, because that study plan does start about 7 to 8 weeks before your exam window. So you really need to get your learning done by that point in order to take full advantage of the study plan.
I've harped on about this in previous podcasts. That 7 or 8 weeks preparation for the case study is so important. I don't think students realize that, but we've had so many students who have literally ran the level learning right up to the day of the deadline and then wondered why they failed the case study. So just to mention that again, it's not going to work out for most of you. If you spend 10 days preparing for a case study, it needs the adequate time. Sorry to sound like a school teacher, but I want to sound like a school teacher here. I think it's very, very important we get that message out.
It's a good point. And you'll see once you start to look at the study plan that some of those mock exams are a little early on in your exam prep journey. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough time to actually do those mock exams and go to those live sessions to make sure you're taking full advantage of the course. We also have, I think Kim had mentioned this a little bit earlier, notifications that are specific to your class. So those notifications could be notes from the tutor, whether they want to remind you about a live session or some pre-work to be done, or it could be notifications from the FLP team about mock exams that are due soon, things along that nature. So those notifications are going to be specific to your class. So it's going to be really important to take a look at those and to see those notifications when they do come out. Along with the live sessions, you're going to have any type of pre-work or post-work that the tutors would like to give you. So let's say they want you to review the pre-scene materials before your session. That'll actually be listed on your My Class page for that particular session. And then if the tutors want to upload any materials that they went over, slides, resources like that after the session, you'll be able to find those on your My Class page earlier. This is a big improvement from what we had in the past, because in the past, we put those resources and materials after the mock exams. This is going to be a lot easier to find those materials in your My Class section. And then when you're actually going to the live sessions, it's going to be a single sign-on link. So you're not going to have to keep up with emails from Zoom to access the webinars going forward. you're actually going to be able to just log into your FLP account, click the link for the live session, and be taken right to the live session. So we're hoping that's a bit easier for you rather than to have to find the link in your email box.
Yeah, some great improvements for students as part of our FLP roadmap going forward. But do we expect any further changes or enhancements to be made in the future, Chris?
Yeah, we do have some improvements that are coming up in the near future, mainly to deal with the introductory materials and the core activity materials that are in the case study review course. So these are the materials that stay pretty static from case study to case study. And those are really materials to get you introduced to that particular level's case study exam and to go over the core activities that case study covers. So the materials that we have now, we thought they're okay, but we've gotten some feedback from students that they could be improved. So with these new introductory materials, we'd like to better explain what's going to be covered on the case study exam, the format of the exam, how it's graded, and even how to schedule your case study exam, whether it be at home or at a test center. So we expect the first half of that, so the introduction to your case study exam, some new videos and materials will be released. We're hoping before the November exam, and that core activities section, we'd like to revamp that to get that ready, possibly by the first batch of materials by February or May of next year. So be on the lookout for those materials. We really think they're going to be much improved from the current set of materials that'll help you to prepare once you get to the pre-seen materials for your case study.
As I mentioned before, Chris, around the mocks, we obviously did some analysis in our team. So maybe you could talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. So it's really important to be attempting these graded mock exams that are included in part of your subscription. So your subscription should include 2 graded mock exams and 1 ungraded mock exam. So the ungraded mock exam is a good opportunity for you to get used to the style and the format of the exam and take a go at it. But it's really important to attempt those graded mock exams because you do receive feedback from a marker on how you did, where you can improve, and where you can get more marks. So we've done studies in the past, and we've found that anybody that completes both of their mock exams is over twice as likely to pass the case study than somebody that hasn't done any mock exam. So it really shows that doing that practice, getting that feedback, and applying that feedback towards your actual exam is really going to help you. You'll find that live sessions are really important as well. So the live sessions are part of your subscription, and you get 3 live sessions per case study window with 2 options for each. So depending on what time of day works best for you, you can attend either option. You have the ability to watch the recording of the live session, but attending the live session can be really important. You're able to ask the tutor any questions that you have. A lot of these sessions are very participatory. So the tutor will ask questions, and you'll have an opportunity to answer those, as well as talk to other students sitting for that case study window. So we do urge you to try to attend those live sessions because it does give you the opportunity to feel like you're part of a classroom with other students, talking to the tutor and being able to pick their brain on how you can succeed in the case study. The 7 to 8 weeks, it's really important to give yourself enough time to study and prepare for the case study. You're going to have your pre-seen materials. It's important to look at those at least once a week, really get yourself familiarized with the case study. We've seen that students that do wait till 2 or 3 weeks before the exam tend to do very poorly on the exam. So really give yourself enough time so that on exam day, you feel fully confident, you're comfortable, you've gone through all the resources, materials, live sessions, mock exams, etc., and you're ready to go. Can't stress that enough. I know Kevin's stressed it too, but really give yourself plenty of time in preparing for your case study.
There we have it from the team that delivered the new functionality. So thanks, Chris and Kim, for your contributions today. I appreciate you taking the time to speak. For our listeners, I hope you find that useful. Hopefully it gives you some context for the changes, what we have delivered, why and how it can benefit you as a student. So as always, feel free to give us any feedback, good or bad, or suggest any improvements to the usual address in the platform. Nothing too negative. If you can, please, I say in jest. There's plenty more information on the show notes. To view them, just click on the episode's info icon on the podcast app or on your smartphone or tablet, or open the episode in your computer's browser. For more information on FLP, go to AICPA-CIMA.com or enroll.cgma.org. We'll have another episode next month. For now, goodbye.
This content is designed to provide illustrative information with respect to the subject matter covered and does not represent an official opinion or position of the AICPA, the Association, or CIMA. It is provided with the understanding that they are not engaged in offering legal, accounting, or other professional services. If such advice or expert assistance is required, the services of a competent professional person should be sought. The AICPA, the Association, and CIMA make no representations, warranties, or guarantees as to, and assume no responsibility for, the content or application of the material contained herein, and especially disclaim all liability for any damages arising out of the use of, reference to, or reliance on such material.